Good evening. Hello. How are you? Hmm. How are you doing at loving the self? I'm just wondering. I'm so blessed here still because I live in the country and I don't have any pressures of supporting anyone or living with anyone except my little dog. And so even though my world on the internet is growing and I'm getting, some more responsibilities and messages and so on from that, I still have tremendous independence and freedom to be as I will, do what I will, or not do. And I'm still someone who doesn't have a clock on the wall anywhere in the house. The computer has a clock, and the stove has one, and that's enough. What's a clock, you know? What's mechanical time? It's just one more thing, one more way to get distanced from the self. It's one more way to look at something external and guide the self by it. And I threw most all of that stuff over in my steadfast march into heart. We'll all do it differently, I'm graced here. I'm blessed to be able to do things this way. So please don't let it be a burden to you if you're not. I don't punch a time clock or, have to pick up the children somewhere at a certain time or anything like that. So there's a lot of freedom here just to be. But in my freedom, I can learn and experience things that I can then share with you. And I know you pick up the sense of it, the breezes of freedom blowing through my soul are in your soul too, because these eyes through which I hoped to see God are the eyes through which God sees me. I am that. We are one. So, self-love. How good are you, or bad are you, about pushing yourself? I'd like you to take just a moment to look at that. When you're pushing yourself, I think most of us know that that's rather hard on the soul, or the being, the sensitive one inside. But we could take it a step farther and say, who or what is doing the pushing? And I think in most cases, it cannot fail to be mind. Mind is wielding the scepter of authority there and saying thou shalt and thou shalt not, and move along and pushing, pushing, pushing. And so, who is the pushee? Who and what is it that's being pushed, if anything? What's that interaction there? How does that feel to you? If we love the self, we take time to listen to it, which in this case means to feel it. The mind speaks to us in words, but the heart and the soul speak in sensings and feelings, which the mind just wants to quash. It doesn't have time for that. They don't compute. They don't add up on a balance sheet. They don't fit neatly in columns. Can't relate it to a clock or a ledger. And yet, what's the real reality? I mentioned going and listening to people's experiences of NDEs sometimes, because through them we touch the soul of the other side. We touch the great light that people enter into. And the great way, in pretty much all cases, priorities get wildly rearranged. And we come face to face with a reality check, a big one. Well, why wait for death? I mean, come on, you know. We all do the best we can, I know. And I never, ever mean to guilt trip anyone. That guilt tripping stuff I won't even say it's for the birds. I love the birds too much. That's a mental thing again. And pretty much everything that's mental is not sufficiently real. It's not at enough depth to be contacting the real you. Sure, it's an aspect or a part of the being, the self, that this society has all but worshipped. And that's how we've been forced into living in the left brain. Push, 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 you know? All of that kind of thing. It's like, where's time for a breath for the soul, a breath of fresh air, you know, barefoot coffee or whatever. Even a walk around the block. Have you hugged a tree lately? You know, trees have great spirits in them. And they're all different, too. Anyway, part of loving self is that we'll be led into feelings, into heart, into sensings, into sensitivity. And maybe, you know, there's things you don't want to feel. But remember, when you lock the devils out, you lock the angels out too. And so, you know, let's not be locking our soul away like that. Let's be willing to feel. Feelings are the entree to the kingdom, you know. You are worthy. You are worthy. Feel that. See you soon.